I saw a video talking about fried ribs, right? And I'm like, that sounds like something that I can get behind. But there's a caveat. I saw them done two different ways. Some folks bake their ribs or smoke their ribs before they put them in the deep fryer, and some folks just hack them up and put them straight in the bitch. So you know what? I'm gonna try both. Call it an experiment, if you will. I do these things so you don't have to waste your money and you don't have to waste your time. So I already prepped my ribs last night, right? I just used a little bit of this Meat Church Holy Cow seasoning after I diced up the ribs real nice, and I let them sit overnight in the seasonings to let those herbs and spices permeate the meat. Hopefully, we'll see if that even worked. So again, what is it, like about 10 bones, maybe 12 bones, somewhere around there. We're gonna take 6 of these, wrap them up in foil, let them go for about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And meanwhile, while those are going in the oven, we're gonna work on something to kind of balance these fat boy activities. I like to have balance in my life, yin and yang, like the twins. We're gonna work on a little chili crisp and honey cucumber salad. If that gets your nips hard, stick around and hit that subscribe button. So after sitting all night, this seasoning is sitting so well on these ribs. The smell when I opened the container literally hit me in the face like a sexy party. And we're gonna take, like I said, just about 6 of these bones. Again, this is an experiment. We're gonna do half the batch. And we're going to put these on some tin foil and just wrap them in foil, make them a little boat, if you will, just like that. And we're going to put them in the oven for, again, maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're looking for these to kind of tender up, I assume. Got the oven at about 325, about an hour and a half, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so for this cucumber salad, I'm not doing anything special. Literally, it's going to be tomatoes, cucumbers, some things, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to take a cucumber, and we're going to slice it just fine, thin, maybe a little thicker than a 50-cent piece, maybe. And I know some of y'all are going to be shitting on me about my knife skills. Hey, this is life again. I'm not a cook. I'm not a chef. I'm just a big-backed man trying to make some food. And if you relate, go ahead and subscribe. Even if you're not a big black man, even if you're a little white woman, you just aren't a chef, and you like recipes, and you like experimenting, give me a follow. Because we need to eliminate this stigma of you got to be a master chef in order to put content online or in order to like just make food. There are people out here that don't want you to touch a skillet unless you've been trained by some kind of Michelin star master chef. And we can do better. All right, so now we're going to take these, are these plum tomatoes? I think these are plum tomatoes. I just picked them up. I didn't know what exactly I was getting. Again, I'm making this up as I go, guys. I'm going to do these into about quarters, and then I'm going to cut the quarters in half. What is your favorite type of tomato? I think I'm a fan of like beefsteak tomatoes because they got the word steak in them. Just reminds me of eating a dead animal. So again, we're going to take these quarters. We're going to split them in half. Just to get the most bang for our buck, make sure there's a little bit of tomato in every bite of this salad. All right, so now we got our tomatoes and our cucumbers in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to freestyle a little bit. I have the idea of what would taste good, and this is not a recipe. It's something I'm making up right here in real time. A little bit of honey, right? Enough honey to saturate the tippy top layer of all this, right? You don't want to add too much, right? I got a little bit of chili crisp, right? This is all real time. We don't know what we're doing. I thought I got oil on my New Balance. And we're going to go all the way down because, you know, the chili crisp is always at the bottom. And we're going to take a good little bit, let's say like a spoonful of mostly just oil and then a spoonful of mostly crisp. Maybe a little half or more. That'll be it. That'll be all I do. Do I want some acid? Damn, yeah, I think I do. So what do I want? Do some vinegar. Do some white distilled vinegar. I don't even know if that really makes sense, but we are making it up as we go, folks. And we're going to mix it all up. I got some dried dill. It'll be all right. It's going to sit for a little while so the dried dill can get a little moisture on it before we actually eat it. A little bit of dill won't kill. Or will it? That's stupid. All right. Then just going to mix that all up. Again, we're just trying to add a little bit of brightness. Take away a little bit of the heaviness from our meal. All right, so it's been about an hour and a half. We're going to check on our ribs. They smell good. They sizzling. And that's what you want to see. The meat's peeling back from the bone, right? But you can tell I could like stick my finger right through. It's just like that. You know what I mean? All right, so let's prep for frying then. It's time to fry. Bitch, I am excited. Son of a bitch. I'm going to use vegetable oil. I know some of you are going to have an aneurysm about the vegetable oil, but it's like the most neutral oil with the highest smoke point that I can think of right now, just to kind of, get the party started. And again, this is an experiment, and I just don't want to, I don't want to experiment with the oil. I'd rather go with something I know. This is barely enough. What the fuck? This is almost a whole thing, and it barely, we going to have to work with it, because this is all I got. All right. And this is real time, folks. So we're going to let the oil get to about 350. Meanwhile, we're going to get our seasoned flour started. It's going to be the simplest thing. Just a couple cups of our flour with a few sprigs of the same seasoning we coated the ribs with. And I saw a few folks do like the egg wash thing and do like the triple station battering thing. I'm not doing all that. I saw the majority of folks just doing seasoned flour, rib straight in, in and out. I made too much seasoned flour. Son of a bitch. Okay. Taste the flour. Always taste your seasoned flour. Maybe a little more. Just a little more. Or a lot more, because I have no self-control. I'm going to take the rib, literally just pote it around in there. I said pote. What does pote mean? I'm making up words here. Hooked on phonics weren't enough for me. All right. We're going to take our flour. We're going to pat it. I think that's the word I was looking for. We're going to pat it on there. Thick little coating here and there. Shake off as much excess as possible so we don't get dirty flour, or dirty oil rather. We're going to do that for each and every one of them. Hindsight, I should have used a wider thing. We're not doing that the whole way. Let me get something wider right now. Again, this is the first video, folks. We are out here in real life. Let's transfer. Booyah. All right. There we go. That feels better. That feels much better. Again, I'm patting it in there. Really pat it in there. Again, we just want to make sure there's enough on here to give a really thick crust. Or a nice crust. It doesn't got to be thick. Our culture wants everything to be thick. We want our women to be thick. We want our pockets to be thick. Not everything needs to be thick. And we're going to try and let this flour sit on for a minute, because you kind of want the flour to get a little wet. You want the flour on the ribs to get a little bit of wet, so it forms like its own paste, its own batter, so it doesn't just render off in the oil. Meanwhile, let's do the same with the cooked ribs. And again, these look damn near good enough just to eat right here. But you get the same treatment, boy. You don't know how hard it is for me right now not to just take a bite of this bitch. But here we are. Willpower, self-control prevails. All right, you probably want a close-up of how they look once they're floured, right? And I did get the indicator that the oil is ready. The oil is ready, Poppy. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the uncooked ones, because I think they're going to take a little bit longer. I think we want to give those about 5 minutes, I believe I saw. At least until they got like that golden brown complexion like me, right? And we might have to do these in batches, we'll see. Get in there, get submerged. I'll start with like 3 bones at a time, right? We sizzling. I'm going to check back in on those in 3 minutes. Okay, first batch. I don't know how much of that batter actually stuck to them, but they look pretty good. The smell is pretty nice. Yeah, again, they look a little sad. I'm not gonna lie. They look a little sad, but I have hope. And if we have hope, you have everything. And these aren't taking just like 5 minutes. I feel like I was sitting here for about 7, 8, 9, or 10 trying to get some color on them. Oh, and I forgot to say, I did pump up the heat to about 375? Somewhere around there, yeah. And I wonder if I can get all of these in, because they are a bit smaller since they're cooked down. I think we could do that. Plus, again, they're not going to have to cook for as long. Please don't get your panties in a bunch. I know it's not conventional, but it's life. You got to live it. All right, we're going to try and give that like 2 minutes. Maybe a little more. We'll see. Until they get some melanin on them, until they get some color on them, you know? All right, so what I felt was going to happen happened, because I don't know if you could see, but as soon as I dipped these motherfuckers in there, you saw the flour just instantly explode off these boys. And you literally, I don't think a lick of flour stayed on these, but experiment. We're going to see what happens, right? Well, look what we got here. Again, you got some amazing color on here. My God. They look great. I just wish maybe a little bit of that flour stayed on there. Maybe a little bit of that flour is on there, but it just, ah. Okay, so first let's plate our salad before we just dig into these. A little bit of everything in here, right? Gonna try and make it a little pretty for the thumbnail. We got to prioritize the thumbnail in YouTube world. How do you make a salad look pretty? Especially a salad like this. It's just chunks. It's just chunks of things. And then let's take a couple of these pre-cooked ribs. No, these are the raw ribs. And then let's take a couple of these cooked, twice cooked ribs. And this is the finished product. Again, not the prettiest plate, but bet you are hot. Folks, when I tell you that I am moist in places I shouldn't be moist over the prospect of fried ribs, that's an understatement. Check out this salad first. We're going to start with the boring stuff first, right? Let's see what we got here. Come on. Oh, I dig it. The sweetness of the honey with the spiciness of the chili crisp is a nice complement of like the just refreshment of the cucumber. Tomatoes add on a little bit of salt. I should have added a little bit more vinegar. And probably just a little bit of salt in general, just to kind of help the cucumber. But again, very refreshing. And now these fried ribs. And I hope you can see that right now. But just seeing that beautiful coating, this beautiful light skin coating, the spices in there. I'm not gonna hold you, let's just see what we got here. Oh God, I am literally shaking. This is exciting. Oh my God. This is that like competition style bite. A delicate crisp. Definitely like fried pork chop vibes for obvious reasons, right? That is fantastic. And now the double cook. And again, these are the ones that were cooked in the oven for about an hour and a half and then fried on top of it. And now actually I see that a bit of that flour coating is on there. They just got super dark really quick. So I could barely tell coming out the fryer, but they are there. There's a little bit of coating right here. So let's see what we got here. That tenderness you add from cooking it before. It's a nice complement to the bit of crispiness you get on the exterior. Look how clean that bone is. That's like 2 bites, 3 bites. That's like the fall off the bone component, right? If you give me fall off the bone ribs fried beforehand or afterwards, you might win me over. Because you get the best of both worlds. A little bit crispy, fall off the bone, tender, damn. But I feel like these aren't, I don't know, they're not as seasoned. They don't feel as flavorful as the one before. Let me try another bone, hold up. But definitely not as flavorful. And I'm guessing that's because a good bit of that seasoned flour did come off in the grease, opposed to these where it mostly stayed on. So these might need that like triple batter method, into a dry, into a wet, into a dry, just to help it really set. I would still bang these out every day, twice on Sundays. Definitely worth the try. Folks, I will go out there and do this right now if you can. So folks, I'm going to finish this. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, you'll definitely see more short form cooking content here and on TikTok and on Instagram. But these long form videos will work. I appreciate you joining me anyway. Click some stuff around my head. YouTube says you'll like these videos. I appreciate you rocking with me. You have a great day, folks. Love you.